All right, guys. So, first live stream in a long time. Kind of not sure how to do this. We're just going to play around with it and see. But I wanted to just kind of throw some content up and tell you guys how life was rolling in 2023, how modern prepping has gone since the 10 years that I have, quote unquote, been on YouTube or been prepping and just things like that. So you're more than welcome. Please come in, like, show it, throw it on your, throw it on all your social media stuff. That would be awesome. But wanted to talk to you about how it was going. So modern prepping in 2023 looks a lot different than what I had pictured when I first started it. When I first started it, I really got into guns and knives and the tactical, like, commando part of it. I had just read a book by James Wesley Rawls. Like Preppers Prepare or something like that, and it sets this mindset of where you have to be at as a prepper, or you're just not going to make it. And I just think that's just, after reading it and thinking like that, it's like, man, that's not true at all. That's just not true at all. And the next question, a lot of these prepping shows, you got to remember, all these prepping shows had come on, was it Doomsday Prepper? And I had actually gone to a conference with the Doomsday Prepper people, which is Such is actually one of them. David, I can't remember his, Southern Prepper 1. All those guys, those are were your prepping people. And in their minds, you have to have a compound. You have to have that. It's got to be totally off grid. And it's just, and I'm just being honest, I don't have $500,000 to spend where I live to have that. I just don't. So my needs have changed. I've also got 2 kids that are, they're 7 and 5. So gotta think like that. The way I'm thinking and the way I do it is, we have a set amount of food. I would recommend getting 6 months to a year supply of food if you can afford it. I used my tax return one year, and that's how I got it. But I got that. So, and that would be like your basic sundries. And that's normal. I started thinking like an 1800s mindset. How did they do it before we had electricity? They had dry goods, and they had a supply of dry goods. And that's what I would think of in a long-term survival scenario is having those dried goods, and then supplement that with hunting and gathering. So my mind, that would be, you be able to shoot some squirrels, shoot a deer. You be able to trap. Trapping is so underutilized in the prepping community. I love trapping, and I've got some trapping videos on here, and they don't get a whole lot of views because people really aren't that interested in it. But trapping is so underutilized in the modern prepping community. So, and then you got to think about, like, what scenarios are you preparing for? I spoke today with with someone that has worked for TVA, retired a long time. The biggest thing that you guys that we're unaware of really is is how the grid is so vulnerable. Man, there's substations all around here that are protected by a fence, by chain link fences. No one's manning them. That's it. They are just absolute. And if you had people that were motivated enough, they can do anything they want, and a chain link fence isn't going to stop them. So, and if you're without power, and it's happened in North Carolina, you're without power for a week, 2 weeks, the crap kind of hits the fan. Are you going to be able to cook your food and have clean drinking water? That's another thing, is people don't like buying these water filters. Buy them, man. Buy them, boil them, understand like how that works. Get you a way to at least filter water. And then And then have a place. I know this probably not, the best thing in the world is like have a place to go to the bathroom. Have a way of getting water. I'm blessed enough to have a lot of water in East Tennessee. There are creeks running through my backyard. There are creeks running through, and I'm in the city. So think about those things. Think about those little wildlife areas in the city, which actually harbor a lot of wildlife. There's tons of wildlife in the city if you know where to look and know where they are. There's tons of deer in the city. Again, you just have to know where they are. No one hunts in the city, obviously, because you got that. But these big plots of land, like there's a big aluminum company where I'm at, and there are deer everywhere, and it's right in the middle of town. So again, it's just thinking outside the box. But I say all that to say my mindset with prepping has been more on the survivalism side, of more or less the 1800s mindset rather than anything else. And in the city, I've learned trying to learn how to garden, when to garden, stuff like that, when to be able to set traps in the city, and how to be able to fish. Like fishing is going to come back, but you've gotta be a good way of doing it. So, and just be thinking like that. Don't think that you're going to have your gun and just take people's stuff. Like you got to think better than that. Financially is going to be another thing that you need to think about prepping in the years to come. We might not ever have a grid down scenario. I really hope we never have a grid down scenario, but we might not have it, thank God. But what might happen is a financial slowdown, not necessarily like collapse, but a slowdown. You have got to get your financial house in order. You have got to invest in the future, because none of this could happen, and that would be great. But you have got to think about, it's like, okay, I've got to get out of debt. You've got to stop using credit cards. Dear God, stop doing it. Stop paying that interest. So you've got to get out of debt. You have got to save for the future. You've got to have, you've got to be able to do that. You need to be investing into the stock market. And that is something that preppers don't say. Every prepper in the world, invest in gold, silver, gold. Screw that. That's false. That's crap. The reason why they tell you that is they're getting paid by gold and silver companies. Like that's why they say that. All of the prepping or alternative media community, that's what they say. Don't do that. Don't invest in that. Oh, it's a hedge against inflation. No, it's not. We've been in 2 years worth of inflation and it has not been a hedge. Don't believe that BS. And if you're not going to go to John's house, like if the crap hits the fan, you're not going to go to your neighbor's house and give him silver for bread. You're not going to do that. You know what you're going to do? Hey man, I've got some chicken eggs. Hey man, I can fix this. It's going to be more of a barter type of thing. It's like, hey, I've got this hammer. Hey, I've got this, it's going to be that type of thing. Ammunition's going to be more valuable than gold. Like, I'm not on the gold bandwagon. Just get mad at me, not my thing. But you need to be investing in the future in the stock market, because I personally believe the system's going to be around. I just do. And I know that's not in the, like, how can you be a prepper and think that? Well, you just hedging your bets either way. So prepping, so you've got to put money in these mutual funds, pick which ones you want to do. But in my opinion, you need to do one of those, like, what is it, those ETF or something like that. But those funds, those S&P 500 funds, man, I've heard they're great. That's what I'm in. So, and put some money back every month for it. Because trust me, you might roll around and be 45, 50 and have nothing. And then you've got to start, like, you got to crank that up. You just got to think like that. You have to think in the future different ways. So you've got to do that. Stop buying new cars. By God, preppers, stop it. Buy you a good used vehicle. I'll be honest with you. I bought a 2002 Toyota Sequoia. It's incredible. Love the dang thing. Recommend. That's what you get. I don't have a list of ones. I'm just telling you what I bought. It's great. You got to change the timing belt every 100,000 miles. I'm okay with spending a grand on it. It's better than spending $700 a month on a new car. That's what the new car. That's the average of what y'all are paying. I don't understand how y'all are doing it. Don't do it. Get into hunting. Learn how to do these things. I got into hunting the last 2-3 years, big game hunting, and it's been great. I love it. It gets so much food on the table that my family will eat. Wife's not really into squirrels. I love hunting squirrels. I love eating squirrels, and the kids do. My wife's not, but my wife will eat a deer roast. She'll eat that. She'll eat deer steak. She'll eat backstrap. She'll eat ground deer tacos. I mean, it's just a different mindset, and you have to be able to do that and to think outside the box there. So again, just some different thoughts of how prepping's going. I've just like I said, I've really gotten away from the tactical prepper, and just more or less I've gotten into the just the not the homesteading, but the modern day, how do you say it? Just like that pioneer 1800s mindset. Doesn't mean you have to wear that clothing and style. There's lots of guys out there that do that, and they look the part. Like, don't have to look the part, but just know how to start a fire, how to clean water, how to do things off of the grid, basically. So that's just my opinion on it, but that's how I've been doing. I'm going to try to live stream more. So guys, thank you so much. This is T Carp signing out. Y'all be good.